such an asshole.
Cappy is sick, but it doesn't matter because it's Monday morning. And the questions never end at assholeconsulting.com, where you can go if you got questions, because Cappy has answers at assholeconsulting.com. Video, please. My question is regarding renting forever instead of owning your own home. I'm mostly concerned about the financial aspect. I'm in my early mid-30s, married with a kid on the way. My net worth is $170,000, pretty split 50-50 between non-retirement stocks and precious metals and retirement savings. I'm a college dropout, worked my ass. So you saved money. You got out of college, so you didn't go that much in debt. So you're ahead of everybody else. Worked my ass off of the trades for 13 years, eventually landing a job I'm not going to mention, making about $160,000. Where have all the good men gone? Currently rent a nice single-family home in a higher-end neighborhood for $2,400 a month. According to Zillow, this house is worth $400,000 after 20% down payment, loan origination fees, and whatever other BS fees are associated with getting a mortgage, HOA fees. I'm looking at just $100,000 to saddle myself with a $2,200 a month mortgage. I just can't justify it. No, you can't. Yeah. Generally speaking, especially if you are single, it is cheaper to rent than to own. If you have a sizable enough family, that's more expensive, obviously, to rent than to own. It depends also on non-financial factors. Like, are you going to be there for a while, right? Which you're not, which is going to be the ultimate decide. I mean, that variable you gave me in the subsequent email that is like, no, you're not in the market for a house. But generally, yes, it is better to rent, and it's highly dependent upon location and the local rent market. Don't say, hey, Cappy said it was cheaper to rent, so I went to downtown Dicksuck, New York, and then I rented. But your math is not wrong, sir. And you don't have to fix shit, right? What was 4 years of my life after buying the new house, right? It was fixing shit. Or maybe not fixing some shit and installing and, new shit, landscaping, all that. Pain in the ass. And you don't have time for that. You got a kid on the way. You work a real job. You do not have time for that shit. I just can't justify this. Yes, I am handy. I've remodeled a home previously, owned multiple rentals while simultaneously hating every minute of building custom showers and rewiring basements. I understand I will have the rising housing payment for the rest of my life, but I'll be saving and investing the money I'm not spending on $100,000 down payment, the inevitable $20,000 leaking roof. My investments, in theory, should grow at roughly the same rate. Increase the housing costs I would be incurring. You are basically giving up home equity to have the free time to make more money, right? Fixing your roof doesn't pay you until you sell your house. Not fixing your roof because it ain't your roof. Your landlord has to deal with that. Frees your time up to go make money, not fixing a roof or some job you don't want to do, assuming you take that money and invest it in a retirement fund. It also allows you to specialize in your labor and not be the jack of all trades, and do something that you said you hate. I remember like, oh, the furnace went out. It's 20 below zero. And then also you have a kid on the way, so you're going to have to, it is already everything you've told me. Yes, rent, because you don't want to dick around with it. You got work to do. Your wife, I presume, has some work to do. You got a kid on the way, rent. My investments in theory should grow at roughly the same rate and increase in housing costs I would be incurring. Yep. Boomer coworkers and Dave Ramsey fans alike think I'm absolutely nuts. Like the idea of renting somehow makes you poor. But considering the disconnect between rents and price of homes, I can't think of a reason why I can't rent a house for the rest of my life. I'll tell you another thing, although it's going to be highly dependent. Very highly dependent upon your area. With getting rid of all these immigrants, rents is going down in some markets. And not to bore people with limits and price elasticity, but prices are not linear right? If there is a 1% shortage of oil or gas, prices might go up 1%, but they're typically exponential. In other words, the more severe the shortage, the much more severe the price change. It goes both ways if there's a surplus or a shortage. So 1% shortage, yeah, about 1% price change. If there's a 10% shortage, your prices, 10% shortage of gas, your prices are not going up by 10%. They're going up by 30 or 40%. Housing is the same thing. A lot of the reason, not the sole reason, but a lot of the reason that you have such high prices right now for lodging, whether it's an actual home price or rent, is because you flooded under Biden. You flooded the market with 20 million immigrants. Immigrant or not, doesn't matter. People. They got to live somewhere. And liberal white women think housing just comes out of the sky. It's like, no. By the way, if you're a Democrat, where do immigrants, especially the legal ones, tend to go? Well, they tend to go to poorer communities. Well, why is the rent so high? Have you tried not voting Democrat for a change? Just once. Just once. So generally, all that to say, especially if you're in a major metro, rents might be stabilizing and renting might not be as expensive as it used to be when we were letting another 8-9% of people to come into the country every 4 years. So, but even without that speculation on the future of rents, I think you are doing the right thing. Boomer coworkers are crazy, but considering the disconnect rents, I can't think of a reason why I can't rent a house for the rest of my life and still build wealth in similar fashion as a homeowner. Let me know why. You are 100% correct on that statement. The thing is that you need to save your money. You need to toss it into, well, if you want to literally replace real estate as a part of your investment portfolio, you could invest in a real estate investment trust. You could say, yeah, I pay more on rent or property taxes or what have you, but I've thrown my money into a real estate investment trust, so that is growing. So I'm still getting equity in real estate, but you gotta throw it in there. You can't. Oh, I'm gonna go buy nails in lashes. Not that you would, but I don't know what group of people. That'd be great if you took all the money you girls piss away on nails and lashes, and you threw it in the S&P 500. Could you retire? So then I said, do you plan on staying where you are for the rest of your life? And you said, at my current job, I'll have to move across the country every 2 to 5 years to whatever site I'm needed at the time. At some point, I'll settle down in one spot. Yeah, then no, you're not in the market for, no, absolutely not. You need to stick around at minimum 7 years to recoup all those closing costs to make it worth your while. 7 years minimum. And since you're moving every 2 to 5, no, absolutely not. Rent, just rent. And then down the road, when you are done, especially if you get to move around the country, I hope you're paying attention which parts of the country you like, or go get my book, Reconnaissance Man. Hopefully you're like, boy, I really like whatever, Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's something about Tulsa you really liked. And then after you're done this, the kids are out of school, whatever, and out of the home, and you're finally at retirement, then you should have some money, especially if you saved it in that REIT fund or whatever. There should be enough money that you buy a house outright. And as I've mentioned before in previous videos, say you find the most wonderful place in the world. Well, go buy the land. Now you're going to have to pay property taxes on it, but go buy the land so at least you don't, the housing is material cost. The land is what's really going up. So you buy your land, and then down the road, once you're done working and you want to settle down finally, then you're in the market for a house. But if you're moving every 2 to 5 years, no, you are definitely not in the market for a house. That's just going to be, you own rental property. Imagine all the hell you get to do fixing all that shit, doing your regular job on top of it, and then being a dad, and then moving, and then packing. Oh, fuck no. You are so far away from being a homeowner, from being in the homeowner's market. You're not looking for a home. You are about as much in the home market as a fat woman is in the marriage market. You're just not in it. You're just not in it. Shh, no one cares. Remember the fun time, ladies, you had starting in the politically correct era of the early to mid 90s, and then the 30 years after that? Yeah, that's over now. No one gives a fuck anymore. We're sick and tired of lying for your fucking feelings. Eat a bag of dicks, which you can find over at 3rd and Main at Bob's Bag of Dicks store. You can get a bag of dicks down there. We got a super chat. Cyberbully, $5. Usually a mistake for a bachelor is to buy a house. I got a suburban house at 26, sold at 29, and rent in Boston. Now my lifestyle improved 10 times. I only because I renovated a basement in Minneapolis did real estate actually make sense for me. Only because of that. But I would, if I were to do it all over again, I would never buy in Minneapolis. Never. No, you never buy in a major leftist shithole. You do not own your property. You are merely renting it from the city. And they will. There was a time the property taxes were more than the fucking insurance and principal, not the interest. I was just like, forget it. No, do not buy in communist cities. Link below is my book, Bachelor Pad Economics. Goes over all the investment decisions and financial decisions you'll have to make from 14 to death. I recommend you get that book if you want to get into financial planning. That is of course. Now, you don't need this book if in your schools you were taught about financial planning and retirement planning and savings, right? Right. Oh, wait, that means everybody needs my book because the schools don't teach that. Oh, that's right. I forgot. And your parents don't teach it either. Okay. Thank you, public schools, for not teaching financial management. I really appreciate it. Oh, okay, Lord. 20 generous dollars. Cappy Tax. Just want to say thank you. Yeah, no problem. Send you that video. So, all right. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.